Hey guys and girls, good to see you again. You know, we've got about, several hundred pecan trees here on Twin Eagle Ranch, maybe close to 1,000. Never counted them. I might ought to do that someday, but I'd probably lose count. 374, 375, 376. Wow, look at that squirrel. Wow. 373. 1, 2. That's probably what happened to me if I started counting pecan trees. So we're not going to do that. But we're going to go take a look at them right now. We thought you might enjoy just kind of running around with us on the ranch here for a little bit and look at the pecan trees. Now, I'm going to explain some things to you that's really important. We're going to go check a trap or two and check for pecan weevils. That's right, pecan weevils. And we'll look at some of the areas we've got that we're ready to harvest right now. We're still a few months away from harvest. We don't do that until November. We will have pecans for sale on the internet. We sell a lot of pecans on the internet. We sell most of them to the processors. But let's go take a look at some of those trees, see what they look like. Last year was a horrible year. We're looking for a lot of pecans hanging on those trees. Whoa, we'll back all the way there. One of the things about pecan farming is you have trees that you really just fall in love with. This is one of my favorite trees. One of the things I like about it, it's a big old tree right there. It's hard to shake. You have to shake it from that direction, this direction, because it's just so big. We actually have a few trees on the ranch that we cannot shake. And but you see, this guy's got a lot of pecans. You see that limb right there? It's amazing, and I don't really know the reason, but some limbs will produce a lot of pecans and some won't. This guy usually produces a lot. A lot of them fall in the road and get run over, and there's not much count there. But this is just a tree I like, and because I like this tree a lot, if you notice, we keep it mowed. This is Bermuda grass. If these trees was ready, we could harvest that tree if it was later in the year. And all these leaves will be gone and just be nothing up there but pecans when we harvest them. We'll be doing videos of the harvest too, so you'll get to experience that. And we'll, like I said, we do sell pecans on online, so you'll be able to order some of our Jimmy Houston pecans. You can see them up there, how big they're getting. You can come over here, and a lot of times we like to look at some of these. And a lot of people will trim these limbs off, like cut all of this off, maybe right up there so you can drive under here with the tractor. We don't do that just because I just love the tree too much. You can see right here now, you see these pecans we've got here. You see you got a little, this doesn't have a lot on it. That's a double. We got, I saw something over here, that's another single. What you're looking for is clusters of 3 and 4 when you have the really good years. And there's a cluster of 3 right there. You'll find trees that's got a lot of clusters of 3 and clusters of 4. These pecans have got a lot of growing to do. If we were to cut those pecans open, there'd be mostly liquid inside of them right now. So they still got a lot of growing to do. They're going to get a lot bigger than this, but they're looking good. They're looking good. They're looking good. All right, let's take a walk down here. We just want to show you one of my favorite trees. My buddy Basil Savage over at his ranch, and Basil's got about 20,000 trees at least, and Basil is a pecan processor, so he buys millions of pecans, pounds of pecans every year, and then he's like a distributor and in-between guy. We sell him our pecans, as a matter of fact, and the ones we don't sell through the internet, which we sell way more pecans to Basil than we do through the internet, but we have the capability to ship out, 1 million pounds of pecans a year if we need to. But we're going to go down and take a look at what we call Sherry's Park right now. And when you see it, you'll know why we call it Sherry's Park. She's in love with that park.'s in love with it. This is what we call Sherry's Park. And you can take a look at it and you can see why it's Sherry's Park. Actually, it's over a mile from the house, and yet we keep this field taken care of just like it's in your yard, just like in your front yard. We mow this with the actual lawnmowers. It needs to be mowed right now, but we actually keep it looking pretty. It's got a bunch of big pecan trees in it. It's total shade pretty much, all day long. It's just a beautiful area. We keep pretty much, you can see some of the sticks falling down. We'll come in and pick up all these sticks up. But we keep this, we take care of this just like you'd think you might have a house sitting right here. It would be a beautiful place for a house. Have a house sitting right back here in that corner someplace would be a beautiful place for a house. But now I want to pull down here in Sherry's Park and show you, we've lost a few trees out of this place in the last few years. But I want to pull down here and show you a pecan weevil trap. Now this is how we know that we need to spray these trees. We spray pecan trees twice a year. We spray them in the spring, we spray them in the fall. And we spray them in the spring for a bug that's called a case bearer. We spray them in the fall for a pecan weevil. This is a pecan weevil trap. That's what you're seeing right there. And we're going to go take a look at it, and I'll explain to you what our problem is. I'd like to be able to find one. I checked this trap. I actually checked it just yesterday, and there were no pecan weevils in the trap. But what happens here, there are no pecan weevils in that trap again today. What happens here is pecan weevils go down into the ground at the end of the season. And they go down in the ground and they form a shell around them, and poison can't kill them, and they just lay dormant. And then when you get the first 1-inch rain after the 10th of August, here where we live, and so we had that rain just the other day. We had it, about the 17th or 18th of August. We had a 3.5-inch rain, another 1.5-inch rain. So now we're looking for pecan weevils. And there's several ways you can do them. You can actually come out here and lay a mat or a blanket out on the ground, spray poison up into the trees, and watch and see how many pecan weevils fall. And you need to spray if you get like say 6 or 8 off of this tree, I would spray. Or you can set these traps out. We buy these traps up in Kansas. They're just a simple made trap. They're just a little board right here, got some screen wire on them. And what happens is the pecan weevils will come up and they will crawl up this, and they can fly, but they don't fly up into the trees. They crawl up the trunks. So they crawl up into here, and they'll crawl up into there, and they will get trapped up in there, and they can't get out. And so we come and check for them. And sometimes, when you're out here, you can also just kind of visibly look around the tree and see if you might see a pecan weevil anywhere. We haven't found any so far. It's just been a few days since the rain, so we'll kind of watch for them. And my buddy over here, Carl Buchanan, that does my spraying, we do all the harvesting. We had a sprayer, but it broke down, and I just didn't want to replace it. And besides, it's a lot easier to let Carl come over here. He's got a really big fan. He sprays all the way up in the tops of those trees and takes care of all the bugs. But it wasn't very long ago. We sprayed late for case bearers this year because it was so wet. And so it wasn't very long ago. So the spray that he put on here, the poison and the zinc he put on my trees not too long ago, might be killing the pecan weevils right now. So I don't know. But he will let me know if anybody else in the area is getting very many pecan weevils when they start showing up. But let me tell you, like last year we had hardly any pecans at all, yet we sprayed everything, and we lost money on the deal. But if you spray, after a few years you have less and less and less case bearers, less and less and less pecan weevils, more and more pecans. So we got a bumper crop this year. But this is Sherry's area. This is another good area. I want to go show you one more really favorite tree of mine. I'll show you that tree, and then I want to take you into some burly areas. It's going to require a lot of work before we can harvest. Obviously, if this was in November and it looks just like this, we come out here, we start shaking trees, picking up sticks, picking up pecans. Life is good. These limbs will nearly hang into the ground when these pecans get twice this size. Look at all the pecans on there. There's 4, there's 3, there's 3, there's 2, there's 3, there's 2. It's a bad pecan right here. Case bearer, got that. You see that guy? See that hole drilled in it? See that hole drilled in that? Well, that's what you don't want to have happen right there. That's a bad deal. This is my baby tree orchard. I planted 102 or 104 trees right here. I don't remember which, just 4 or 5 years ago. And they used to call this the graveyard because all these little sticks sticking up out here. But now we've got a lot of nice trees. I mean, a lot of these are really nice trees. Some of these trees have pecans on them. These are all improved pecans. Most of them, I believe, are Choctaws. And we'll pull down here and see what we can find. Now, not all these trees have got a pecan on them. And obviously, you can see they're not big enough to shake. But these are really going to be something. I'm going to come in here probably in February. Pecan trees are kind of hard to buy. But I'm going to come in here in February and see if I can't. I counted the other day, and I think I counted 56 trees that are nice big trees that are doing really well. But I'm going to come in here and some of the small trees. You see some of these little bitty clumps. Those are just some of the. They didn't do very well. They're not very good at all. We watered these trees all summer. We didn't do it this year. First year we haven't done it. We probably should have. But we watered these trees 3 times a week ever since they were little bitty baby trees. a lot. We watered them with a tractor, with a water trailer. Come by there and use our hydraulics and dump about 20 or 30 gallons of water on every single tree. I know I'm not seeing some pecans that are there because I've been driving through these some, and I've been seeing a few pecans. Most of them are up a little higher. These obviously, these pecans here that we find on these trees are not going to be very many. We'll come in here and hand pick them, probably make about 2 pies. It'll make a few more than that, but they don't have many pecans on them. We did spray these trees the other day. I know I saw some with some pecans on them. Now these 2 big old trees right in front of us are some of our favorite pecans. Those are really, really nice big trees right there. Those trees usually have a really, really good pecan crop on them. You don't see them. I'm seeing quite a few there. Yeah, that had quite a few. They're not really loaded, but that's got quite a few pecans on it. Oh yeah, that one's loaded pretty good. Yeah, that one's got quite a few. Now you can see the places where that's a blank. We'll put a pecan tree right there, right there. There'll be 3 right there. And as we drive through here, you can see all of these empty spots. I'm going to come in here in February this year and replant these if I can buy some trees. Pecan trees are kind of hard to come by. If I can buy some trees. I know I drove through here a couple of days ago and I saw quite a few pecans. And for some reason I'm not seeing any pecans on any of these trees. I want to get out and look at a pecan. That tree's got to have a pecan on it. I mean, it's got to have. That thing has got to have a pecan on it. It's got to have a pecan or 2. Okay, right there's 3. It looks like one of them has got case bears to it. But you can see those are big, nice, big, beautiful round pecans. They'll be twice that big here in a little while. But and it's got a few more on further up. I see a few on further up there. But yeah, that's a pretty good sized tree. Make sure there's no rattlesnake around by it. That's a pretty good sized tree right there. You see how big that tree is? But it'll be a lot bigger next year, a lot bigger the year after. We take care of them as well as we can, but we got about half of the trees are still alive here. But it's going to be a nice orchard. This orchard will produce a lot of pecans once these trees get larger. Pretty soon, within the next 2 or 3 years, they're going to actually start producing quite a few pecans. And they'll be big enough to shake. It'll be a while. They need to get probably twice as big around as they are right now, maybe 3 times as big around as they are right now. And obviously they need to get lots and lots and lots more pecans on them. Not many pecans on them. I starved to death eating pecans off these trees. I guarantee you that for a fact. Plumb starved to death. All right, let's go look at another favorite tree of mine. I got to show you this tree. And then let's go into the brushy area and let me show you how much work we have yet to do to get y'all pecan pies. Okay, now here's another one of my favorite trees. I like the location. Of course, it's up here by the barn. It's got a nice pond. But here's what I love about this tree. Now, this right here is some, those bagworms. You know the bagworms? Those are bagworms. And, of course, we sprayed the tree, and obviously it's killed all those bagworms. And, but this is another thing that I love about this tree. Will you look at all the pecans? There's a cluster of 5, 3, 2, 3. I mean, look at all those pecans. Actually, a lot of the trees we looked at had this many pecans on them, but you couldn't see them. But the bagworms have kind of killed a lot of the limbs here. But now we've killed the bagworm because you see that right there? That's a baby pecan that did not grow up because of the bagworms. But when we sprayed them, we killed all the bagworms. But if you'll look up through there, you'll see all the way to the top of that tree, hundreds and hundreds of pecans. And that's another reason that this is one of my favorite trees. You see how low the limbs are hanging? They're hanging that low just because of the weight of these nuts. And these nuts are going to get twice as big as they are right now. This is actually a double pecan tree. What we'll do is we come in here, and you look at it anywhere around it. That's the thing about it. Look at there. Nuts, nuts, nuts everywhere. Nuts, nuts, nuts. But we'll have to come in here and shake his tree. We'll shake his tree on both sides. We'll come in here and we'll put our We'll put our shaker on this side right here. Shake it. All these nuts here is going to fall down, most of them. We'll come over here on this side. Shake it. There'll be a lot of limbs and stuff fall down also. That'll be exciting when you do that video. Y'all will like that. That's a lot of fun. The thing that's not fun is you got to go in here and hand pick up all the sticks. And then we run through around here with our harvester, and we got pecans. And a lot of pecans. I mean, it's going to be a good year for pecans. The price is probably going to be down. I would say that pecans are certainly not going to be any more expensive than they were last year. Might even be a little less expensive. I don't know. Because we have a lot of pecans. This is farming. If we have a lot of pecans, all the other pecan farmers probably have a lot of pecans too. But anyway, you're going to, and let me tell you, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm just going to go out and say it. Jimmy Houston Twin Eagle Ranch pecans are the best tasting pecans in the world. Try them and tell me if I'm lying. I'm not running for office, telling you the truth. Absolutely. Ask anybody that's had them. Ask anybody that's had them. Unbelievably great tasting pecans. Ooh, I can hardly wait. They're always fresh right off the trees. We only can get them in November and December. Start taking orders in October, only get them in November and December. Okay, before we wrap this video up, be sure to subscribe to the Jimmy Houston Outdoor YouTube channel. If you're not already subscribed, if you are, be sure to hit that notification bell so you won't miss a single video. Let's run down and take a look in a big, giant pecan grove that's got hundreds of trees, but it's not been touched yet this year because it's been too wet. It's a mess. Let's go look at it. This, sports fans, is the beginning of a big pecan grove. This is our largest pecan grove without a doubt, and you can see that we haven't done any work, but if you look and see, look down there at those bottom limbs. Look at all the pecans on that tree. That tree is absolutely, the reason that limb is hanging down so low is all of those pecans. Look at all those pecans. It is absolutely loaded. That is a champion tree right there. Now, but you can see our problem that we have in this pecan grove. It's been so wet, we haven't been able, look at it, look at the pecans on there. This time of the day, you can see them shining like a new dollar. And actually, they probably are about 30 cents a piece, or 40 cents a piece, I don't know. But we haven't been able to get down here and work in this pecan grove, and so what we've got is we've got a pecan grove that hasn't had any work at all done to it. That means that we'll get down here, and now hopefully we're going to be able to hay some of it. We'll get in here and we'll hay maybe in the middle of it, and get a few bales of hay out and kind of take care of some of it, because it is absolutely a mess back here right now. These limbs that are growing out here, those are little pecan trees that's grown out of individual pecans that didn't get picked up. These trees are pretty loaded. Beamer must have seen an armadillo or something. She loves to come out here after we get these fields ready because she gets to chase armadillos. That tree is loaded with pecans. This tree, loaded with pecans. Look at those pecans. Oh my goodness. But now all of this needs to look like Sherry's Park, actually. And we keep Sherry's Park looking like that all year round. But this, of course, once we come in here and clean it all up, it'll look like Sherry's Park. It'll look really, really good. But you can just see, look at the size of those pecans. Well, you look at the size of those pecans. Those are huge, huge pecans. Look at the size of those pecans, will you? Look how big those are. Look at there. They're longer than my fingers, those pecans are. Look at that. Those are big, improved pecans. Honestly, I'm not sure what brand those are, what flavor, but look at their big, long pecans. Those are high-dollar pecans right there. Look how big they are, and they're thick in there. And that tree, unfortunately, got a big limb broke off of it too. Two limbs, another limb. Well, I have to pull those down. This is higher than your head back here in places. So much work got to be done back here. Those are a lot smaller pecans right there. And we're right back out in the hayfield. That's a pretty sight right there, I think. All of those hay bales out in that field. I've always liked looking at sights like that. To me, that's a pretty deal right there. We finally got the rain over. We're going to go back to cutting hay probably tomorrow. We got the Bud's got his equipment up there and be starting back cutting, and hopefully I get in there. I've got to leave early in the morning and head on a road trip to Minnesota, meet up with Scott Martin, Roland Martin, my two buddies up there. Roland and his son Scott, great bass fishermen, both of them. Probably going to do some collaboration with both of them that we'll have right here on our YouTube channel. And Roland and Scott will have it on their YouTube channel. So if you're not subscribed to Roland Martin Outdoors or Scott Martin YouTube, be sure and do both, because they've got great stuff up. Scott's got a huge YouTube channel of almost 500,000 people on his YouTube channel. Later, guys and girls, be sure to subscribe. Hit that notification button so you don't miss a single video. Later, guys and girls.